Hi, I'm Paul Mersel. Today I'm gonna do a tutorial on the new RE420 version 4. That version will be compatible with Rivet Games subsystem, and while I did the update for that, I also took the opportunity to do a lot of changes under the hood, really, in scripting and some other things. Some bugs that I finally fixed. Because the RE420 is one of the first engines that we ever brought out. That was back in 2015, I think. So, you know, doing a lot of trains since, you learn, and some of the things I could do better. So we have updated a lot of things on this pack. What I'm going to do is do a scenario. That's actually part of the Gotthardbahn add-on. What I did is I swapped the engine, so the RE460, swapped it over for one of my my TrainworX RE420s, and hopefully just playing out that scenario will sort of automatically go through some of the basic operations of the RE420. So anyway, we'll start up the scenario, and I'll take you to the most important things. One of the difficulties in an RE420, if you compare it to an RE460, is the fact that it operates with a step switch, which means like the Stufenschalter. So it's a totally different way of driving an engine than for instance an RE460. Anyway, here we are in the scenario. Please wait here until the signal is clear. We can see a train here, and we have to wait until that train departs. If you look around in the cab, not much difference. The only thing that is different is that I've added the iPad with like the schedules for the whole stretch between Bellinzona and Eerswald, both ways. So it's the same as in the RE460. We're gonna go from Biasca to Bodio to pick up some wagons, and then we'll drive on to Faido. Another thing that I've changed is I've added a quick key, a Ctrl-Shift-S, which will automatically start up the engine. So you're almost ready to drive and don't have to switch, put all the switches, set all the switches manually. It also switches on the Wachsamkeitscontrole, which is CFF in German, or Deadman's pedal in English. That will be switched on, and I'll switch that off with Shift 7 because I don't want to have the risk to watch for that during this tutorial. So I think we're ready to go actually. What also fixed is that the HUD for the brakes is now better, because you can now choose between all the brakes. So dynamic brake, the engine brake, which will switch off, and the train brake. We'll put the train brake into Fahrstellung, which is like the release position, and that's clearly visible now in the HUD, so that makes it a little bit easier to pick the correct setting for that. Then we have to switch on ZUP, which is the same as we did in the RE460. Just put the green button, the test sequence will start. After the test sequence we can push the red button, and we will just re-engage the main switch, and the subsystem is now operational, and that just leaves us to drive away. The regulator is a combined regulator. Forward it moves the step switch up, backwards it moves it down, and which will then act as a dynamic brake. And if we go through the settings, it's at 0 now, which is the off position. When I go one step up, it's the minus position, so that means that it will shift down steps in the Stufenschalter. So it will, if you're at Stufe number 10 and you put minus on, it will go to 9, 8, and then if you want to stay at the position where you are at, you can put it on the point, the dot. That will keep it at that position. So it keeps the same power. It has nothing to do with speed. So it's not a fixed speed that it will stay on, it's a fixed power that it will stay on. So that's an important thing to know. One step further is the manual upshift, and that will, the first step will be 1000 amps. If you drive the engine solo, it's gonna be quite some power. So what you will have to do if you want to stay under, for instance, 40 kilometers an hour, is play with that switch and make sure that you're not going too fast. You will see that the Stufenschalter is something that you will need to operate a lot during driving this engine, and you're constantly trying to get the right step for the speed that you want. We can go up to 80 kilometers an hour now. So it's going to be difficult enough for me to do this tutorial and tell you about a lot of things, and at the same time trying to keep my speed in check, but I'll do my best. You'll see that I'm just trying to move the switch back and forth to try and stay close to 80 or 85 kilometers an hour, what we can do here. This whole operation of the stepped switch is going to be a lot easier when we have wagons, when we have some weight behind us, because that will sort of smoothen out the power a bit more. So I think we can speed up a little bit now to 85. Everything's clear, so the zoom is just showing us the 4 dashes. We should be okay. Take a look outside a bit. Go, 95. You will notice that I'm constantly playing with the switch to keep it on that speed. Again, this is more difficult if you drive the engine solo than it would be when you've got some freight attached. For the rest, I did some changes, some cosmetic changes on the wiper, and I think there's some other things that I changed in the dashboard, but mostly it's the same as it was before. The wipers operate the same way. Left wiper and right wiper are separate, and as in the real situation, you are able to fix it. If you switch it off, it will stay where it is, which is the same as in the real engine. Fun fact is that because of the way the wiper is in the middle of your view, drivers normally switch it to the side before they start driving, which you can do here too. Okay, let's do a little bit more power. We've got a yellow 40 here. So the soup is now showing 40, and that is because in a little while we will arrive at Bodio, and we will be shunting there to pick up some wagons. So we'll just gradually slow down here. So the power is at 0 now, so it's all the way at 0 amps. We can actually switch it off, but we'll see, because we're going downhill, that we need to brake a little bit, and the downward path is almost the same. So it's also a step switch, which will step by step increase the dynamic braking situation. And we went way too fast, so we've got an e-brake now. That's what I said, it's always difficult to do a tutorial and drive the engine at the same time, because you're just bound to make mistakes. Anyway, at least you've seen how that works now, so what we'll do is we'll re-engage the, let's see, the Q, that's in Fahrstellung still, we'll put that at 0, off, we'll put on the main, the rest is all good, and we'll just move on again. Okay, so, well, not too bad. Now you've seen what happens if you do something wrong, and the subsystem will override and will give you an emergency brake. But we're off again. 40 is the speed that we need to drive here. So let's try and stay below that now. You see that we it shows a 0 on the sub display, so that's because we have to stop further down the line. And in the distance we can already see the freight that we need to pick up. Okay, we're gonna go and move off the main line into some sidings, and we will have to stop at this little area further down. So we've got 0 amps now, so it's just gradually rolling to where we need to stop, and we can use the train brake to make sure that we stop at the right position. There we are. Okay, back here, and now I think in a moment's time we will get a message on our next action, which will be reversing and picking up the wagons. There we are, well done. Now move to the rear cabin and proceed into Bodio Siding 5 to couple the loaded wagons to your locomotive. Press Ctrl Tab to request permission to enter the occupied siding. Okay, so we'll go into the other cab. We'll press Ctrl Tab, request to pass signal at danger approved, and we will gradually drive up to the wagons that we need to couple. The soup gives us a warning, obviously, because now we are driving towards a track that's actually occupied. So there, not too fast. More. There we are. There we are. And now I forgot that the last time we need to pick up some more, so we have to drive a little bit more that direction to hook up the rest of the wagons. Okay, well done. Stop. Return to the front cabin and proceed to Faido siding 31 when the signal is clear for departure. So we can now go to the other cabin again and loosen the brakes. Put on the wiper because because it's starting to rain now. And what you will notice is that the acceleration is a bit more gradual now because we have some wagons attached. So that means that the power is a little bit more dampened by that. And it makes it a little bit easier to use the step switch here. Go up to 40. Okay. Okay, and off we go with our wagons attached. We can go all the way up to 70, so I can give it some more steps and accelerate until we hit 70. Okay, so I think this actually is what you've seen now, and what I've explained is the most important things you need to know for driving the RE420. The rest of it is just driving it and getting used to the controls and the power distribution. It might be a little frustrating at start to get it under control, but you will probably find out, as I did, that the more you drive this engine, the more you start to love it, which is actually what the Swiss drivers still say they love the engine for what it is, which is the same for the 620, which will be the next one that I will upgrade. So what I will do is I will complete this journey all the way to Faido, and there might be some things that we bump into which might be of interest to you, but if you don't want to wait for another 10 or 15 minutes before we reach Faido, it's okay if you switch off here. For the rest of you, we will just move on to Faido and make sure that we finish this scenario.